Hi guys, Luton here, welcome back for another map breakdown. We're looking at Kiasar Railroad. We're on Conquest to begin with, so we can take a look around the map. And it's got a very typical cross layout for the bases, a star dimension. In the middle of the base we've obviously got the sea, which is going to control the dropship, and then the 4 bases surrounding. A very foresty, mountainous region, this one. Really nice, a lot of harsh rock formations around here, sort of granite rock formations all around, and a lot of vehicles, huts and so on. Starting out you get your typical Asram, what's Asram? Aslan. You get your that's going to be my name for this vehicle now. You get the Aslan, you get the LAV, and you get the bikes. A lot of road routes all across this place. The railroad runs straight through the middle of the map. Okay, let's go down first to the sea area here, go down to the coast. Okay, and you can see a lot of kind of rocky outcrops. These are very key when moving point to point because of the openness of the rest of the map. The A position right here, this is the canoe centre. That's right, it's the canoe centre. How I wish they had actually put canoes into this game, but no canoes, I'm afraid. So that's the canoe centre. You've got a kind of road running right the way down here, main thoroughfare, runs straight across the coastal side of the map. Let's go to D next because it's the next one along. This obviously, as you can see, it's going to be another fuel station. It's the gas station. And then we're moving on to C. C is located on these 2 bridges which run across the map. And obviously you've got some dry riverbeds here. And C is going to be the bridge. Aha! The originality is strong in this one. It's the bridge. Okay, so if you want to call that up, it's the bridge. You got some wood and stuff. All the wood is destructible, as I learnt to my dismay earlier. When I was hiding behind some wood and then a tank hit it, I was like, oh my Christ! I had to run away. Okay, going over to B now. What's this going to be? Logging camp? Wood camp? Oh, it's the water tower. Okay, I would have called it the logging camp with all the thing. It's the water tower, because there's a water tower there. Right, okay, going over now to the E base, the final one of the Conquest map. And this base is called the Comm Centre. Really, the Comm Centre? Why is it? Oh, because there's a comm mast, that's why. That explains it all. Okay. Back over here at this other base, the Russian base, obviously you've got a huge logging operation going on here. They get the standard helicopter there, the attack helicopter, and the same as us. So there's a lot of interesting combat, a lot of air combat on this map. The helicopters really are a strong component of this map when it comes to the combat. But as you see from the gameplay I posted earlier, the LAV can really be a sort of strong contender when it comes to this map because it's fast, it can move over the terrain a bit more quickly than the main battle tanks can. It's heavily armoured, you can really deal a lot of damage. The bikes as well, the bikes really hurt on this map because they're very fast to flank around. Let's go pick up some bikes quickly. Okay, so picking up one of the bikes, we'll just go for a quick ride around. And the bikes, again, really dealing with the terrain very well. You can fly across a lot of these things with these bikes. They handle, once you've got up a bit of speed, they can handle most sort of situations going up and around these things. And don't be scared when you're on the bikes to really thrash them around because they can take it. You know, you don't need to worry too much about damaging them. You can really go hell for leather and they'll just take it. If you get a bit of height, again you see the bikes can take the height. They don't seem to get really damaged from taking big falls. Look, see, we do take some damage, but they seem to sort of sustain quite well. They don't slow down unless you really take a big hit. There we go. So you can see that this map, again, it's quite open. A lot of kind of rough terrain going on here. Speed, as always with Conquest, is going to be the key, but again, the scale of this map does lead to some periods where there's not much happening and some bases can go fully undefended. It tends to be that, unsurprisingly, the bridge here, C, tends to be quite a focal point for the actual combat itself, and E, because it's quite nearby also. The satellite bases like B and A and D tend to really not have so much combat. People tend to push back towards the base because they know there's going to be people there. It just depends, as with the other things, like how your team play, how the team playing, like how do these maps go down, what it is that people are going to be really doing. But yeah, anyway, so that's been Kiasar Railroad on Conquest. Let's take a look at the Rush now. Okay, right, we're back on Kiasar, or Kiasar Rush, and we're going to be looking from the attacking perspective. Now, this map is actually one of the most difficult that I've found for Rush so far. It's really, really difficult. The scale and the openness of this map, combined with the terrain and the vehicles available, really do make for this one to be quite a tricky. You have got at spawn, you've got your standard attack helicopter, you've got the bikes, you've got a main battle tank, and of course the Aslan. Alright, so let's pick up a bike just to get this base done quickly, because I don't want these videos to take too long. First of all, the first base. The first base is really tricky. Okay, the first base is really tricky. We're going to the canoe centre, alright? That's where we're going to, the A Conquest base. And the reason it's difficult is because you have this area to cover here. This open area here on the roadway between your spawn and the base. Now, again, it depends so heavily on what your team do. If you have a team that grab their vehicles and push really fast down this road, you may find that it's going to be okay. But the longer you take to get to this base, the worse it is for you. Because, what the hell happened there? I got stuck on a piece of grass. Okay. The reason that this is very difficult is if you look from a defending point of view, okay. From a defending point of view, they have a very large open area to cover. Okay, there's your attacking base up here, and all they have to worry about is the coastline and this left-hand side. So as these kind of bases go, it's really not that hard. Now, I should point out that as an attacker as well, you can flank far right up around here, and I have done that in a gameplay. I did that last night as well. But it tends to be that the defenders stay very tight around. They'll stay on this bunch of rocks here, that bunch of rocks there, and perhaps a couple up on this hill over here. Of course, if you're a defender, this is actually a good thing to do. So this is not wrong or anything. It's a good thing to do. I'm just pointing it out. Okay, again, you can see, look, this roadway, this road is the one that goes all the way out around there, and that's where attackers are going to be coming in. So you can see this roadway here. You may want to consider dropping some mines around this area here, because any bikes or LAV is going to come bounding up here. Also, this roadway here, it could be prudent to drop a few mines around this area. That's going to kind of cover from vehicles this area over here. And it means that you can then, focus a little bit more. You may want as well some kind of sniper LMG position up here to try and cover this left flank a little bit. Anybody trying to move from these rocks across, etc., etc. But the defenders really do have a strong position up here. You see, they can kind of get in on these rocks. They can really lay down the fire. Engineers can position themselves here, 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 and you can really have a kind of arc of concentrated fire going down on any tanks or anything that are coming down onto this road here. So again, you can really beat these tanks down. And if you, as an attacking force, don't have momentum for this first base here, this first section, it's going to stall you, and you're going to end up with a first base loss, which is never good for attackers. You getting these vehicles? Okay, there we go. So apparently, I was just curious to see whether we could get in this building, that's all. I just saw the door and thought, okay, can we get in here? This base, the BM-com area, this does not stay like this for very long, mainly because the attack helis will usually pound this kind of area, and this will very, very quickly become open. If as an attacker you can get in here before it's been destroyed, you're going to have a much better opportunity for destroying it. But once this base has been cleared off and you don't have this cover anymore, it's wide, wide open, and that's when you're going to get fire coming from different positions. You're going to have a much more difficult time to arm this objective. I'm just going to arm both MCOMs to talk about this a bit more and move on. As an attacking force, then basically speed and flanking, as always, are the key. It's the same principles, whatever you're doing. But the coastal road is the one that I find is really quite strong to use. Coming down the beach side here is one that I have used multiple times, and it's really very good. There is a small, you can see why this is good, there's a lot of kind of rock cover here. You can move up much more safely to the objectives than you can from the other side, which is very, very open. There is a little island right here, and you may sort of think to yourself, what's useful about the island? Look at this, look at the graphics on this. What the hell is that? Seriously, look at this. You can see the zigzags, look. Dear, dear, dear. Look at that. You know, I'm not one to make a lot of point about graphics too often, but seriously, this sucks balls. You know, if you look at Battlefield 1943 and look at it, if you look at Battlefield 1943 and compare it to this, it's perfect smoothness. This, like I can see the pixels. Not good. And it comes down to probably optimization. These maps are so large that it's the only way they can get them to function. Anyway, there's this island right here, and this island can be kind of useful as a staging point, because you can come across from here. Now maybe as you come up, you're going to drop a few drops of smoke, like 1, 2, okay, cover you. Then you can move across here. This is going to give you a stronger ability to flank. You can come all the way up here, look. You can get over to this side. There's another small island staging point. So this can be kind of good. If you can imagine, you can get over here quietly. The action's all going on over there on the right hand side. You know, you can drop a recon point down here. You can drop a quiet recon point, and then you're going to move up towards the canoes. All right, maybe move up towards, head for that shack, flank around, all right, and you can get in on this base. Also, you will regularly find that mounted up on these rocks right here, you'll often find that you have 2 or 3 people who are completely tunnel vision. They're totally focused on the forward point here. They're not looking around to the right. And as exactly what happened to me last night, I came up here to try and go for B. There were 2 or 3 guys right here, and I just cut them down. Okay, so these little islands here are very, very good as staging points for you. Oop, missed the staircase. Right. Although I will say the design is very nice. You know, these little sort of ramparty bits, you know, the stairs and what have you, jetties, it's really cool. A lot of this scrub grass is really good as well, lots of nice, you know, it really feels like kind of random. It really feels quite natural. There's a lot of kind of just general detritus around, and that's great. You know, it really makes you feel like it's a kind of environment rather than a sort of barren map, and the sort of general feeling of this map is really, really awesome. Let's take the tank. Okay, so now we're moving down to the fuel station next. Now the fuel station, again, it's one that we've had problems with, again, because of the sort of tight ability of the defenders to kind of control it. You're going to have a real hard time getting in here. And using these kind of hills and stuff is a useful thing to do. You can see that I can move up right here with no real vision, no line of sight on the enemy, which means it's good. You know, they don't have any line of sight on me. Coming across here, we can start to lay fire down. But they will have their own tanks, helicopters up, etc., which is going to make it more difficult. The coast is an option, but it's very exposed on this next base. The previous one, you had a bit more cover. If we go over here, see how we have these rocks here, but look, once you get to here, it's very, very open. You don't have a lot of cover, so you really need to go kind of like tight along these rocks from here to here to here to get in and round to this base. Just going to abandon my tank here. The defenders, you know, they can really take strong positions because you can get up onto these rock positions right here, lay down fire across this whole beach area. Okay, they can also lay fire here. If anybody saw the gameplay that I uploaded earlier, you would see you know, it was like a defense of this base, and we nearly held on to it even though it was 200% tickets. As defenders, you're going to want to watch out for these hills over here. The attackers will flank up and get onto these hills. You'll have sniper contact and all sorts of stuff over here. They'll really be pounding it down onto this base. But if you can hold the line and hold your nerve, don't forget as well that you've got these launchers right here. So when you have any tanks entering the base, be sure to get one of those in. Remember that you don't, you know, if you're not an engineer because you wanted to have a class for a specific reason, don't forget you can get on those launchers. It really helps the engineers out to take those things down quickly. Okay, AMCOM is in our default concrete stair building right here. Again, defenders, don't forget that these are great for sort of sticking your head out. Look at this as a defender. This is a perfect position. You can sit up here. You could mount an LMG bipod on here, or a sniper or whatever. You can lay down fire all across this area, and you're fairly protected. Okay, it's not too destructible. Remember, these staircases are quite solidly built, so that even when it's taken a hit, even once it's taken a hit, look, you can still get in here. Alright, still a good position. And of course, if you wanted, of course, you can still mount bipods across here as well, even though you're going to be much more exposed. Right, let's get on to B. So this base is going to be very fast or difficult depending on how your team are playing. It really depends. If they're fast and able to overwhelm the enemy quickly, you'll be able to get in this base and take it with no trouble. If you've got a good defending team like I had, then it's going to be much more difficult, and it's going to take a huge amount of pressure. In the end, when I was playing, they did take this base by sheer weight of numbers, and that all came down to us not destroying their vehicles quickly enough. They piled tanks in on us, they put weight of numbers, and they had the helicopter up all at the same time, and they really just, because you're all in such a concentrated area, they really did kind of thrash our base down, which was a lot of fun there. Right, moving up towards the next base. The next base is a very large open, it's the logging camp area. It's the spawn base for Russians on Conquest, so we'll just wait before we can move up there. And then we've got one more base to come after that. This next base is very, very easy for the attackers. You can go on foot, you can take vehicles, which is what I'm waiting for. Okay, main battle tank, and you can see bikes again. Let's take a bike because we want to get up there fast. This base, it's a rail yard basically. It's a rail lumber yard, and it's massively open. Massively open. It's a real nightmare to defend. I would go as far to say that it's very near undefendable. It's not impossible, it's just very hard. It's hard because look at it. It's so wide and open. And apparently the barriers stop the bikes. So one of the only things I've seen stopped so far. It's very open. Look how big this place is. You know, it's massive. And trying to control this base here is akin to the oil refinery on Sabalalalan. Okay, it's very, very similar because it's huge, open, and you're going to have a very difficult time really managing to control. Okay, let's arm these up. There's not too much for me to say about this base really because it's so dependent on how the enemy team are playing. There's no real kind of key positions to point out on this one because it's so open, so big. The MCOM, it's actually outside. I haven't armed this one myself. I automatically assumed it would just be inside, but there you go. Of course, this hut will be a mild help to you because with this hut you'll be able to kind of cover the road here, cover the hills here. And you can also obviously see across to the BMCOM there. So this hut is pretty useful if you have a good team using it. Perhaps you have a medic and a support class up here working in tandem, maybe an engineer as well. As a squad you could really hold down this building, but obviously a hut like that is going to draw a lot of fire. A tank is going to take you out fairly quickly. You're going to have a hard time, I'm not going to lie. As defenders, attackers are going to be pouring at you from pretty much any direction they want. You can see, look at the amount of cover they have moving up here. You know, they can pour right up onto these hills, lay things down, throw grenades, get into you. There's so many ways into this base, it's unreal. It's going to be a very hard one to hold. So that's why, again, the first and second bases, if you can hold those, they're going to be your key bases. If not, you're on to the last base. And the last base, again, it tends to get held. This is kind of an Alborz Mountain style kind of last base. It's very, very tricky to kind of get to. Where's our bikes? Oh, here they are. Yeah, this last base is very Alborz Mountain because you got a kind of few roadways in, but the defenders spawn pretty much on the base itself, which makes it very, very difficult. Let's go up here off-road a bit. Now you can see that we have got some nice kind of flanking routes going up here. Alright, but look, this is where the boundary is, okay? And you'll see a lot of people up on here coming up to this base. Now, you may think that this base is quite open. It looks very open, alright? But the thing is, I'm just moving across over here again to show you the roads. Look, okay, so you've got fast roads coming up here. You'll have the main battle tanks and stuff driving up these roads. coming up straight into the base, and obviously we've got another pathway going up here to the right. So again, attackers can come at you from all directions here. And so on face value this base looks pretty easy, but in reality every time we've played this base, this last one becomes very hard to attack. It becomes hard to attack. The main reason being that this BMCOM is enclosed in a very tight area here. It really is. So defenders can very easily sort of get into these bases. Again, a very nice little position here for you to shoot anyone coming in, and you can get on the MCOM at the same time. Attackers really have it against them because they're coming uphill. This makes me remember so many games. It makes me think of Alborz. It makes me think of like Hill 137 in Bad Company 2 Vietnam. Any of these kind of bases where you have upcoming hill. Look at this. From a defender perspective, although you guys have lots of options coming up as attackers, the defenders have a very strong position here. They can lay down multiple missiles down on your tank and armor coming up here. Any infantry that are moving can be easily spotted and eliminated straight away. The MCOMs are very close together, and then on top of that, the defenders spawn almost on the base, like right on it. So it's not in your favour. We've also got launchers up here. Again, not particularly. Let's just take. Okay, we got. Okay, this is crap. Who decides where these things go? Seriously, like in what reality is this going to be useful? Like even if this is not here, look, like you've got a bloody huge earth in. Why do they not put it here? Look. Here, you put it here, right, you'll be able to see down the road, but they've put it here, you can't see crap all. What is the point? It's useless. Anyway, okay. The right hand side over here, again, you got a roadway. This is a little bit more open. You tend to get snipers, recon points set up here, LMGs to fire down into the base. I have to say, me and Jizzler were taking this base the other evening, and this is how we got into the base. We actually just ran up here. We didn't use vehicles at all. We point to point up this hill and get onto the base, and then from here you can see right across to B&A. And what we did was we just moved straight in. Okay, you can move up to this point here, which gives you some nice cover. You can lay down fire across there. And then obviously you're into A. A is it's the default metal building, okay? You see on Carg Island and Wake Island. Straight in on this building. As soon as that's armed, you're going to watch out for guys coming in from this area here. They're going to be pouring in from B. So you're going to want to watch that. And then it's just a case of clearing out the enemy, watching for them coming in. Remember to watch this left-hand side because they will be coming in from here. Defenders, well, you need to watch everywhere. And then we're on to the BMCOM. So that's Kiasar Railway, or Kiasar Railway. It's pretty good. I like it a lot as a map, actually, even despite its kind of very difficult nature to defend. As I say, it does make me think it's a hill-based mountain. It makes me think of Alborz and other maps like that. The Conquest map, it's frantic. It's quite a overgrown, rough terrain for Conquest, but it plays out really well. The railroad and the general terrain, there's a lot of ups and downs. It's very mountainous, rocky, and it makes for some really exciting gameplay. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, drop it a like and comment. Always interested to see what you guys think. Got the last one coming up pretty soon, and then I'm going to be going into my initial thoughts video. I'm also going to do a video talking about Capture the Flag, and then on Sunday coming up, I'll have my full review of the DLC. See you next time, guys, for some more Battlefield 3.